Okay, so now we're going to add a key listener. So a key listener is a class that we implement that lets us listen for keys. And so the pattern is usually when we want an event listener, we say we implement that event listener, we have to import it, and then we'll be forced to create some functions like key typed, key released, key pressed. So we're going to listen for key events, we're going to import the library that allows us to do it, and we're going to do the functions. Now, if I had them memorized, I could just type them, but I don't really have them memorized, so I did some Google searching. First off, I know I have to import Java awt.event. That library right there is the library that lets us listening for key listeners. Actually, and in it, there's a whole bunch of listeners. The one we want is actually key listener, but I'm just going to go with star because later on we might do some other ones, and it's good to have them all. If we want an efficient program, maybe we wouldn't import libraries we don't use, but we don't need to worry about that right now. So the one I want is implements key listener, and I'm going to compile it even though I know this isn't going to work because I'll show you what the error is. You might see the error. There's an error. It says the type Pong must implement key listener key pressed. I must implement key pressed. I must implement key released. I must implement key typed. See, if I take this out, the program runs fine. And there's no errors. But if I put this in, it's saying, okay, well, you want to be a key listener, you need to tell us what's going to happen when a key is pressed. So what I do now is I go back to this code, and I'm going to find the codes that I want. Look, public key typed, public key pressed, public key released. So those are the functions I must have in my program. Back to here, and I'm going to put them underneath paint. And you see how the brackets start mattering because I can't put it inside paint. I have to put it underneath paint. So between this and between static void and main, I'm going to put it right there. So what are we going to have? Notice actually Mr. Russo doesn't follow standard Java brackets. I like it like this. So they line up. I notice a lot of people do it like that, which is fine, but then I can't line up the brackets. So I'm putting it like that. I change purposefully because I think it's actually easier to understand what's going on. And then I'm going to delete this display info, because that's a function that we don't have. And maybe I will just, I really don't care right now what happens when a key is released. I don't care what happens when a key is typed. I'm only really going to use key pressed. And since I'm not using these functions, I can actually just make them one-liners like that. So I don't need to take up space for a function that I'm not using. So, but this one I am using, and I just want to go system.out.println e.get key code. Beautiful. So e.get key code is going to tell us what key was pressed. So if I hit run, now let's say I want to use P because I want to pause the game. P. So if I go to the console, no, I still haven't got it working yet. The reason why I don't have it working is inside Pong I have to be, say, set super.set focusable, and then in here I say true. Yeah. Super.set focusable true. So what that means is, can this window be focused by the keyboard? Is it allowed to take the keyboard focus? And the reason why focusable matters is if you have 20 windows open, they all can't be listening to the keyboard. Only one does. So I say I'm focused on when they click on me, I'm going to handle the key presses. Actually, I also have to say add key listener this. So this is actually saying, please let me listen for keys. So now let's see if I got it. Okay, so the numbers coming up. Those are the numbers that correspond to the keys. So I'm going to use P. P is 80. I didn't know P was 80 a few seconds ago, but I'm hitting P on my keyboard, and 80 is coming out. So now I know it's 80. So I can say if e.getKeyCode equals 80. And I should probably comment here and indicate what that is. If user presses P. Now, one thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a pause. So let's make a pause. Notice how we're painting? This is sort of the engine of the code, right? So let's not do anything if the user presses P. So let's go up here. Let's make a Boolean called P. And let's pause equals false. So we're not paused by default. So let's encapsulate this whole thing and say, well, you know what? You're only going to do this if pause equals false. So you only move if pause equals false. And so now I want to go in here and I want to tab it. Okay, and I say else. So this happens if pause is not false. And so what do I want to do if we're paused? Well, I probably want to say g.straws. I probably want to tell the user that we're paused. Game is paused. Hit P to unpause, right? So now we can go here, and what do I do? Well, pause equals it. If, see, I want to say pause equals true, but then how do I unpause? Now, there's two ways I could do that. I could make another key code like U, and U would unpause, right? So you hit P, you pause, you hit U, you unpause. But that's not how games work. Usually you hit the pause button again, it unpauses. So why don't we say this? If pause is equal to false, notice it's two equals, not one, because I'm asking a question. If pause is equal to false, else pause equals true. So if we're not paused, pause the game. If we were paused, unpause the game. So I wonder if that works. It doesn't work. I have some errors. The left assignment of a variable. Oh, see, I made my own mistake. So I got to use two equals. So we've just done a nested if statement. Congratulations, our first nested if statement. If they hit the P button, then we ask another question. Is the game paused? If it's not paused, we pause the game. If it is paused, we unpause the game. Pretty cool. You know, one thing I noticed, I would like to still paint where the ball is, right? So let's, we could still keep this in here, g.draw oval. We could still put this, because I don't want to lose where the ball is. And I would put that in here. Notice the color changes because I don't set the color in the other one, but still it's pretty cool. So I think I'm going to leave it as that. Actually, maybe I'll do one more. Just because I'm going to give you some challenges. Let's do something for the up arrow. If I hit the up arrow, so first off, I don't even know what the up arrow is, so let's figure it out. Up arrow is 38. So now I want to know if e.getKeyCode equals, double equals, always double equals if we're asking a question. And then I should tell it if user hits up arrow. Now I could say, what did I want to do? Let's just do something fun. b.xspeed equals b.xspeed plus 10. So let's make the ball go a little faster. So your first challenge is going to be to, and I might suggest some, is to implement maybe like 10 things that we can do with the keyboard besides the paddles. We'll probably get to the paddles too, but like maybe like admin commands, you know, games always have secret codes. So things that you could do if you hit the keyboard that would change the way the game works, maybe change the color, things like that. So what does this do? This speeds up the game, makes ball move faster. And maybe you would have keys just for the X speed and just for the Y speed, right? So if I go up here, obviously I can go so fast that. Cool. Okay, so what did I do? Just to summarize before I go, I made a ball class. Public ball has all these variables inside of it. It has its own move code as well. And what else did I do? I implemented a key listener right here. I imported the key listener so that it would work. And then I declared 3 functions that when you implement, you have to do. Key typed, I'm not using. Key released, I'm not using, although you may want to do something when the user lets go with a key. And key pressed. One of the challenges you're going to have to do is make your own paddle. You see how I made public class ball? You're going to have to make public class paddle. And you'll have to paint it inside here just like I did. But I'm going to give you this code and some suggestions. Good luck.